All right, guys, welcome back to Cold Pizza Watch Reviews. Today, I'm talking about the Stowa Antea Classic. You want to know what I think about it? Hold tight. All right, guys, welcome back to Cold Pizza Watch Reviews. Today, I'm talking about the Stowa, or Stowa, however you want to pronounce it, Antea Classic KS. Now, before I get into the review and the specs on this watch, let me give you a little backstory on Stowa as a company. They are not new. They've been making watches in the German Black Forest since 1927. Now, I stumbled upon Stowa because I was looking at their Flieger line, their Pilot's line of watches. And I saw that they had a Bauhaus line as well, and I thought, yes, a lot of these German watch companies have Bauhaus lines of watches. But when I started looking into it, I realized Stowa was one of the first. So what I did is I contacted them and I said, hey, can you send me one of the watches from the Antea line? I really like it. The size looks great for me and I'd love to do a review on it. They were nice enough to send me this Antea Classic on loan. So let me give you the backstory on the Bauhaus design. Back in 1937, Stowa and Lang & Son were purchasing their dials from a company called Weber and Barrel. Now, Weber and Barrel sold the dials to Stowa and to Lang & Son. Now, Arthur Weber of Weber and Barrel designed the original Stowa dial. So in principle, Arthur Weber was the initiator and the creator of the original dials in 1937. So that's what I think is cool, is that this thing is almost all original, because in 2004, Stowa reissued the original from 1937, and that's what we got here today. So let's get into these specs, because man, I tell you what, I love this watch. It's super cool. Price-wise, where does it come in at? If you go to their website, it's going to come up in euros. But right now, the conversion is about $1,077. So for $1,077, you can pick up this particular model, the Antea Classic, on the leather strap. Now, the case is all stainless steel and all polished everywhere. See-through case back as well. Now, you've got a 35.5 millimeter case diameter. You've got a lug-to-lug coming in at 44.6. You've got a case height of only 6.9 millimeters. Lug width is a great 18 millimeters, which allows you to change out for multiple different straps. And the other thing that I like is that these lugs are drilled, so you can pop the pin right out and easily change out the strap, which is nice, especially on an all polished watch. You don't want to sit there and have to dig and scratch up those lugs, so I love the fact that they are drilled. Next, the crystal is sapphire. Dial is silver. These hands are amazing. They are a heat-treated blued. Then going down to that small second hand, which is blued, and you've got this grooved dial that encompasses the small second hand, which just, the detail in this watch is amazing. Getting into this movement, this is kind of confusing to people, because when you start looking up the name of this movement, it's listed as a Peseux 7001. Sometimes you'll see it listed as an ETA 7001, ETA Peseux 7001. The reason for that is that ETA bought Peseux in 1985, and they basically acquired this movement, the 7001. This movement's been in production since 1971. You got a 17 jewel, 42-hour power reserve, hand-wound only movement. It is not hacking. But everything you read about this movement, it is essentially bulletproof. Watchmakers love it. Watch companies love it. Tons of different watch companies have used it throughout the years. So it is a solid, well-made, Swiss-made movement. And ETA, it's basically an ETA branded movement, but it was originally designed by Peseux. Now, my overall impression of this watch, when you get this, it comes in a beautiful big box, and then you get this nice wooden box that the watch comes in. You've got a handwritten card that talks about what model you have, which is nice. So all that's nice, great presentation, can't complain. But when you take it out of the box, just the finishing and the attention to detail on this watch is amazing. Now I'm lucky I have a 90mm macro lens and I can zoom in on this thing to the smallest detail of the dial. Now, that's what impressed me. I don't see smudging of the numbers. I don't see the indices being off. I don't see evidence of printing. It's so clean. It's just well done. Everything about this watch is so well done. So that's just the dial and how clean the dial is, how good the numbers look, just the small second hand and how great that looks, and the bluing on the hands, even down to the post that the minute and hour hand are affixed to. When you look deeply at that center post, it almost looks riveted. I mean, it can't be riveted to be able to remove the dials, but just the finish on the post that the hands are on. And again, I've got a macro zoom lens. I see that. That's the things that impress me. Then you flip over to this case back. And man, I really try to capture how well they finished this movement from the Geneva striping to the blued screws. And that's hard. You know, you have to get the light to show the bluing on these screws. But it is such a pleasure to look at. I tell you what, I wish more watch companies would go to hand-wound movements with see-through case backs, because honestly, we're all tired of looking at rotors. That rotor spins around and it hides the majority of the movement. And it's like, you can only look at so many decorated rotors. We'd like to see the whole movement, and you get that with the Stowa. The strap that comes on this is perfect, you know, and I've complained before about watch companies giving you poor straps and poor bracelets. The thickness is well done. It's not thin. It's not cheap. I didn't wear this too much because, again, this isn't my watch. I didn't want to scrape it up, but you can smell the leather and the quality. It's so well made. You open the box and it's like, man, that is some strong leather right there. It's definitely a quality strap. And if you want to change it out, you can easily dress this watch up or dress it down. This is a minimalist Bauhaus watch, so that is not a dress watch, but it can be an everyday watch easily. If I had this, I would wear it at any occasion. I don't think I would play sports in it, but other than that, this is an all-day watch. I think it's easy to pull off, and I think the biggest thing about this watch, what you getting a killer movement, Swiss-made, ETA-made, proven for a long time. So the movement is covered. You got a great German-made watch with a long history and one of the beginners of the Bauhaus movement. So I think you're getting the heritage, you're getting the quality, and you're getting the brand with this. And only basically $1,000 for an amazing watch. I had to double check the pricing. I was like, is this all it is? Is $1,077? Am I doing the euro conversion right? This is great. You know, I've hand wound it. I've let it sit here on my bench and winds real smooth. And when you wear it, this is probably the thinnest watch that I think I've ever had. But I like it. And it's almost one of those things you didn't know you wanted in your collection. You put it on and you're like, man, this is just a whole nother world. Just that thin, cool, minimalist. They just executed it so well. And again, you're talking a design from the original. So I love this watch. I think you really can't go wrong for $1,000 on what you get here. I would love to hear your comments if you have a Stowa or a Stowa, however you say it, in your collection. And if Bauhaus isn't your thing, look at their Flieger line. Their Bauhaus watches are amazing, but honestly, they've got some amazing Flieger watches that I want to get my hands on as well. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this watch and about Stowa as a company. Put your comments below. And as always, I appreciate you tuning in to Cold Pizza Watch Reviews.